Hey friends, welcome back to Essence Homestead. We're outside doing chores. The sun is finally out, and if this is a sign of what February is going to be like, the world will be just fine. So update from my last video. I had my doctor's appointment. They did not do an MRI, and it seems like things are healing well enough that they probably won't. I'm supposed to go back next Thursday to see how I'm doing. But for now, I'm getting around on just one crutch, which is very, very nice. Makes life a lot easier to have an extra hand to actually carry stuff. But today we're going to do a video all about direct sown seeds. I know this time of year everyone's planting their seeds that they have to start early, and I just want to take a minute to be able to tell people that gardening doesn't have to be that complicated. If you don't want to get lights out and start seeds super early, there is a lot of plants that you can grow in your garden that love to be direct sown right into the soil. What do you have?
4 eggs.
In your fancy hat?
There's a cracking one.
Yep, that's because they're rolling around inside your hat. So you have to be careful. We'll have to eat that one. You still hungry for some second breakfast? Are you plowing? Owen, are you plowing the snow? He's gonna take out a kid. Okay, so while the kids are outside playing on this beautiful Saturday morning, I'm gonna start out explaining why people start seeds inside, just to make things clear. So there's 3 main reasons why people go ahead and start seeds inside. If you are in a colder growing zone, you need the extra time to start the seeds inside so that plants can get mature before your first fall frost. That's the main reason. The second reason why people start stuff inside is especially if they are selling things at a farmer's market or farm stand, to get a jump on the market. If you are one of the first people at a farmer's market to have tomatoes in the season, people are creatures of habit, and they will continue to come to you throughout the season then to buy your tomatoes if you're the first ones to have them available. So that's the second reason. The third reason why a lot of people start things inside is to protect their little seedlings from critters and pests that would otherwise try to eat them out in the garden early in the spring. So for example, last year we had no pumpkins, and that was because when I direct sowed some pumpkins outside, and mice went through and ate all of the seeds up before they could even sprout. So if you are not worried about those 3 important parts of starting seeds inside, then find some crops to direct sow. Then you don't need to deal with the lights and coddling baby seedlings through the early spring. There's a really loud crow. I don't know if you can hear that. So here's a few things to keep in mind. There are a ton of great gardeners on YouTube and just the internet in general that all do things a little bit different. So I'm not saying that what I do is the only way to garden or is it the best way to garden. It's just what works for me. So keep that in mind. Plus, I am on the line of 4A and 4B for our growing zone. We've had some really crazy winters here, and so I do try with perennials to find things that are hardy to zone 3, just because like that polar vortex last year was a bit crazy. So keep that in mind. If you are in a warmer climate, there will be more produce that you can grow and direct sow. We also start certain things inside under lights early that we then direct sow later on to have consecutive harvests so that we can harvest things constantly through the summer. Not everyone does this. If you're growing in a backyard garden, just experiment. That's the best thing you can do in your gardening, is just experiment. If you're going to start something early or direct sow it later, you might be surprised. This year I direct sowed beans every 2 weeks, and it was amazing to see how much better the later planted beans did. They were more prolific, they were healthier, they didn't have to deal with the early spring frost. So play around with it. The first vegetable that I love to direct sow is bush beans and pole beans. The only difference is pole beans are a vining plant that needs some kind of trellis or something to climb up. Next, for direct sowing, I like to do small root crops like beets, carrots, radishes, turnips, anything like that that does better direct sowing. With carrots, if you try to start them inside and then transplant them, generally you will not grow a straight carrot. They will be all kinds of crazy shapes. The other product that I like to direct sow is large vining plants that would otherwise take up too much space in my little greenhouse. So things like pumpkins, cucumbers, watermelons, and all the different kinds of squash. That being said, there are some varieties that for a market garden, I will start inside just a week or two early and then transplant just to get a jump on the growing season. Cucumbers are a big one. I do start them. They are one of those products that I do start a little bit early inside, but they do fine direct sown, and I actually do succession plants that are direct sown so that we have cucumbers all summer long. Another thing to keep in mind is potatoes. Potatoes you do not want to start inside unless you are growing them in containers for the entire season. You do not want to be transplanting potato plants. So if you buy your seed potatoes and cut them into pieces, they do wonderful just directly into the soil in the spring, and then you continue to hill them over the summer. So I hope that this helps some new gardeners out that just want to direct sow some plants and not worry about seedlings. You may have noticed that a lot of the plants that I listed will not be available in your local greenhouses. And no, your neighbor Nancy did not get there before you and buy them all up. Greenhouses just know, the pros know that these kinds of plants do better direct sown, and so they don't even carry them. You will find some that will have things like cucumbers and squash and maybe even some peas, but they really just do better direct sown, and it's cheaper to direct sow the seeds instead of buying seedlings. I hope this helps out and that you can direct sow your garden this year. So if you're going to be direct sowing some plants, let me know what you're growing in the comments, because I would love to know what others are able to direct sow in other zones. So for now, I hope you have a wonderful week, and we are going to go play. See you next time.